Hi, hello students. Back to the comic Tintin in Tibet. Now we will look at the story of the comic, the story at a glance. While vacationing at a resort in Varghese is a place in the French Alps, surrounding the French Alps, with Captain Haddock and Professor Calculus, Tintin reads of a plane crash in Massif in the Himalaya mountains. That night in their hotel, Tintin falls asleep while playing a game of chess with Haddock, who is having trouble choosing his next move. Tintin has a vivid dream that his young Chinese friend Chang Chong Chen met in the Blue Lotus, survived the crash, and awakes violently yelling Chang and throwing the whole recreation room into chaos. The next morning, he reads in the paper that Chang was indeed aboard the plane that crashed in Tibet. Believing that his dream was a telepathic vision, Tintin travels to Kathmandu with Snowy, followed by a skeptical Captain Haddock. So Captain Haddock also discourages Tintin by saying that Chang will be dead because the plane crashed in mid of the snow and there is no possibility that any person will be alive. There was a search party. The search party searched for any survivors and they couldn't find anyone. So they couldn't find the body also because it was all burned and gone. So anyway, Chang would have been dead. But Tintin believes that he saw a dream where Chang is calling out his name, Tintin. So Tintin believes that no, Chang is alive. They meet with a Sherpa named Tarke and accompanied by some porters, they trek from Nepal to the wreckage site in Tibet. So here Tintin and Snowy is approaching their hotel after a long walk. And here you can see the telepathic intervention of Tintin. He was playing chess with Captain Haddock, and how all in the recreation room, all the people are being disturbed because Tintin he just takes a small nap and he sees a dream, a vision where Chang is crying for help. And here you can see how Calculus is sitting. He is deaf and he is not aware of the commotion that is happening around him. So after arriving in Tibet, the group noticed the footprints in the snow that Tarke claims belong to the Yeti who has stolen Captain Haddock's last bottle of whiskey. The porters desert the group in fear, but Tintin, Haddock, and Tarke continue, taking the porters' loads as well, and eventually reach the plane's wreckage. Tintin sets off with Snowy to try and trace Chang's steps, and in the process discover a cave where Chang carved his name on a rock, demonstrating that he survived the crash. Following a blizzard in which Tintin falls down a crevice, he rejoins Haddock and Tarke, who had sheltered inside the crashed plane. Tarke resolves not to continue any further, believing that Chang is dead, so Tintin, Snowy, and Haddock travel in the direction of a scarf that Tintin spotted on a cliff face. So when they reach the wreckage spot, Tintin is looking for some kind of a, uh, some kind of a thing or something that will lead him to Chang, and he sees a scarf. While trying to climb uphill and after having his pickaxe jammed with St. Elmo's fire, Haddock loses his grasp and dangles perilously down the cliff wall, endangering Tintin, who is tied to him. He tells Tintin to cut the rope to save himself, but Tintin declines. Anyway, we are after looking at the story, the summary of the story. We'll also be looking into the themes of this particular comic book. And the first and foremost theme that you will see is friendship. Here, Captain Haddock he just falls off the cliff using the rope, and because he is more heavier, he will when he falls down, Tintin will also come after him. So he tells Tintin to cut off the rope and save himself, even though he is ready to die for Tintin. But we can see that Tintin is not ready. He says that if we are going to live, we are going to live together, and if we are going to die, we are going to die together. I won't leave you. So the friendship between mainly the friendship between Tintin and Chang, and then we have kind of substantial friendships like Snowy and Tintin, or Captain Haddock and Tintin, and all those friendships that is there in this particular comic book. Tarke, inspired by Tintin's selflessness, returns just in time to save the two. That night they pitch their tent in a snowstorm, but it blows away into the face of the Yeti. They hike onwards, unable to sleep, lest they freeze, and finally arrive within sight of the Buddhist monastery of Corbion before collapsing due to extreme fatigue. An avalanche occurs and they are buried beneath the snow. And Snowy takes a letter to the monastery, and ultimately they are all well and good in the monastery. So here you can see Blessed Lightning. He is having a vision of Tintin who is buried in the avalanche, the snowstorm. Blessed Lightning, a clairvoyant monk at the monastery, sees a vision of Tintin, Snowy, and Haddock, and Tarke's perilous situation. Tintin regains consciousness and, incapable to reach the monastery himself, writes a note and gives it to Snowy to deliver. Snowy lets go of the note when he finds a bone, but then he realizes what he has done and runs to the monastery to make someone follow him. The monks head after him as he is recognized as the same white dog in Blessed Lightning's delivery. At first, the monks are not ready to accept Snowy. Uh, they just calls him off. They just ask the dog to go off. Then when they hear about the Blessed Lightning story, they feel that okay, someone is in danger, and that is why the dog is here. So Tintin is at the monastery, and this is where Tintin is given a scarf for his bravery towards the end of the comic. And after 2 days, Tintin, Haddock, and Tarke awaken in the monastery and obtain an audience with the monks. After Tintin tells the Grand Abbot why they are here, the Abbot tells him to abandon his quest and return to his home country. However, Blessed Lightning has another vision through which Tintin learns that Chang is still alive inside a mountain cavern, but that the Migo or Yeti is also there. Haddock doesn't believe the vision is genuine, but Tintin, after being given directions by the abbot, travels to Charabang, a small village near the Horn of the Yak, the mountain sighted by Blessed Lightning. So Blessed Lightning has another vision where he sees that Chang was rescued by the Yeti and they are in another part of the Himalayan mountains, that is Horn of the Yak. Haddock initially refuses to follow Tintin anymore, but soon changes his mind and pursues him to Charabang. The two of them and Snowy head to the Horn of Yak on the final lap of their journey. So they come over to Charabang, and from there they move on to the mountain Horn of the Yak. The three wait outside until they see the Yeti leave the cave. Tintin ventures inside with a camera to look for Chang, which he does so successfully, who is feverish and shivering. The Yeti then returns to the cave before Haddock is able to warn Tintin and reacts with anger upon seeing Tintin taking Chang away. He reaches towards Tintin, setting up the flashbulb of the camera, and Yeti, startled by the light, runs out of the cave, knocking over the captain who had come to save Tintin. The two of them carry Chang back to Charabang, and he tells the story of how he stayed alive and how the Yeti took care of him. Along the way, they briefly meet the Yeti again, who is scared off by Captain Haddock's blowing his nose, leading Chang to express sympathy for the Yeti, calling him the poor snowman instead of an abominable beast. So that is what the natives called the Yeti. He's a beast. He will kill people and all that. But Chang says that he's a poor snowman who has helped him out of his crisis. Once Chang had been prepared for comfortable conveyance, he, Tintin, and Haddock are met by the Grand Abbot and an emissary group of monks, who present Tintin with a silk scarf in honor of his bravery. He has shown and the strength of his friendship for Chang. The monks take them back to Corbion, and after a week, when Chang has recovered, they return to Nepal via the caravan. As their party travels away from the monastery, Chang muses that the Yeti is no wild animal but instead has a human soul, while the Yeti sadly observes their departure from afar. So Tintin comes over to the Himalayan mountains and saves his friend Chang. So that is the story all about. Now the themes of the story, one is friendship, loyalty, and perseverance. Perseverance not to fail. Tintin, whenever he feels that he is not going to find Chang, Again and again he sees the vision or he sees the dream where Chang is crying for herself. So perseverance or the bravery that Tintin shows to try again, that is very much appreciable. So that is what the story is all about. The comic is all about. Tintin's unshakable conviction that Chang lives and in Captain Haddock's reluctant but ultimately unwavering loyalty, culminating in his cool determination to sacrifice his life to save Tintin. So, as I already told you, friendship is a common theme in this particular comic series, and you can see that it is between Tintin and Chang, Tintin and Captain Haddock, and also between Tintin and Snowy. So, even though Captain Haddock says all kind of excuses for not going with Tintin, first to Tibet and also then to the Himalayan mountains. Later, because of his unwavering loyalty towards Tintin, he says that, okay, I will come with you. This is the last time that I'll be coming with you. I won't come with you again. And again, we will see that Captain Haddock has returned to Tintin. So, that is the friendship and loyalty that you come to see in this particular comic. Friendship, loyalty, and perseverance is in that the four and the physical trek to the crashed plane recedes in the background. Tintin holds fast to his convictions despite everyone else's doubts, skepticism, and admittedly consistently flawless logic. Even faced with the merciless perils of nature and Himalayas, he perseveres. There is Tintin's loyalty to Chang and Captain Haddock's loyalty to Tintin. There is going for what you believe in and following your heart, even at great personal risk. So here you can see how Tintin ultimately finds Chang in the cave of the Yeti, the horn of the yak. Tintin and Captain Haddock. Tintin in Tibet is centered on friendship. Searching for a friend against all the odds is the most obvious motive. But more than Tintin's telepathic connection to Chang, Tintin in Tibet is all about the dynamics between Tintin and Captain Haddock. Captain Haddock loyally supports Tintin despite his near madness. The high point of Tintin in Tibet is seeing how one would sacrifice his life for the other. Tintin and Captain Haddock, truly a friendship for the ages. And also the friendship between Tintin and Snowy. They are unfalterable friends from the very beginning adventures of Tintin, the first adventure of Tintin and the Soviets. The relation between Tintin and Snowy are meant to represent the ideal bonding between human and the animal. While Tintin represents the higher human spirituality, Snowy represents the base animal physicality, and both need to be dependent on one another in order to attain the ideal living. Tintin risks his life to save his eternal companion, but again by scolding Snowy, he plays the role of a caring guardian. Thus Tintin, a young boy with a great heart, as called later, is not only sympathetic towards human beings, who by no means are of blood relations, but also animals that prove their worth with the same dedication and sincerity. So Tintin and his eternal companion, Snowy. The friendship between Tintin and Snowy is also very popular. An interesting feature of Snowy is that from the very first panel, he is endowed with the characteristics of a human being who responds to whatever Tintin says, bears the pride of being more than a mongrel, and most importantly undergoes a conflict of to drink or not to drink. Thus, what separates him from other animals of the graphic novel is his human consciousness and how he transcends his limit of animal behavior to evolve to something more than a canine companion. He's not just a canine companion to Tintin, other than that, he is a close friend. We understand all the crises that Tintin goes through. So, Tintin and Snowy, the friendship between Tintin and Snowy is also uh, very much important throughout the adventure series of Tintin. Snowy has been everywhere with Tintin, even to the moon, but in most books he is literally just a dog that is very loyal to Tintin. In this book, Snowy saves the day more than once and has a lot of personality, daring Haddock to fall off a log, getting drunk and dragging a note with Tintin's plea for help all the way to the monastery. It is an interesting throwback to the early story. So here, Snowy is the one who helps Tintin in so many of the adversaries that they come across. Now, Chang and Yeti, another friendship that you can see, even though it is not to be that much highly mentioned in the comic. That is the friendship between Chang and Yeti. Chang says that Yeti has a human soul. He is not just an abominable beast. He is a snowman, the poor snowman. That is what Chang calls Yeti. Yeti is in popular culture as a ferocious, unforgiving beast, takes on a hitherto unassigned role in a creative art as a nurturer. His behemoth assume a motherly mantle and take care of an alien being with utmost love and care. While Tintin and his companions leave, the Yeti growls very loudly and watches over their caravan move away, its beloved Chang back in safe hands. The symbol of unconditional overflowing love stands over everything around. A divide has been breached, but only because of unflinching love that transcends biological categorization, and it is the very emotion that eludes urge. Now, another theme that you will find in this comic book is the myth of Yeti, Tintin's telepathic dream, and also the divine interventions in the monastery. The telepathic visions that Blessed Lightning has. Yeti is one of the most fascinating elements in Tintin and Tibet. Throughout the story, Yeti is portrayed as monstrous and dangerous, building up to the moment Tintin ventures into its lair to rescue Chang. But the Yeti is a kindly creature. It saved Chang's life and cared for him. The story ends in success, and yet it is such a melancholic ending. The Yeti is alone, his sad calls echoing through the mountains. There is a line from Chang. I tell you, Tintin, from the way he took care of me, I couldn't help wondering if deep down he had a human soul. So Yeti, bringing in an imaginary creature, but here you have a uh, proof that Yeti lives in the Himalayan mountains. The savage, strange tracks are about the foot long, the found by the British mountaineer Dr. Ward. Yeti's footprints. But still, Yeti is an imaginary character. Chang explains how the Yeti kept him alive through everything, and we learn that the supposed antagonist of this story was a gentle animal with a sporty reputation. I already told you there is no villain in this adventure of Tintin series. Only villain is there is no villain, and we can say that Yeti is a villain, but he is a gentle animal, even though can be considered as an antagonist or the villain in the story. This part of the story truly cements the lack of villains in this narrative. In the end, even the Yeti is redeemed, since without him, Chang would be dead. And here you can see the telepathic visions that Blessed Lightning is having. When he is having a vision, he just goes up in the air. He is weightless. Once he had decided to set the story in Tibet, Herz threw himself into reading about the country. This linked into his interest in yoga and spiritualism, and also interest in extrasensory perception and mysticism of Buddhism, which were integrated into the story. So, whenever we are talking about Nepal and Tibet, the film Yoda by Mohanlal, we see the small boy who has these kind of visions. So it is part of their culture, these kind of spiritual interventions that they have. Okay. Tintin stories were not averse to showing vague supernatural elements, especially when it came to foreign religions, such as the Fakis from the Sigurs of the Pharaoh and the Incas from the Incan two partner. And this story is no different. So, Herj, already we have said that Herj is a writer, he is an author. When he is writing about a particular country, we have already seen that when he is writing about China, he is very particular about the places in China. So just like that, when he is writing about the different countries, he tries to bring in the culture of those countries as well. As you can see, the Fakis in Cigars of the Pharaoh, or the Incas in the Incan two-parter, and also the Tibetan culture in the comic series Tintin in Tibet. Tintin has prophetic dreams that lead him to believe without doubt that Chang is still alive, and the Buddhist monks exhibit similar prophesying abilities as well as some sweet levitation. Aside from Tintin's prophetic dreams, this is where the mystical element of the story is introduced, with the monks shown as capable of levitation and prophecy. Snowy loses his message, but since his arrival was predicted by the monks, they know to follow him up the mountain to find their friends, and they are all rescued. The grand abbot of the monks dunks on Westerners for being so determined to climb up most forbidding mountains, and then tells them they would be best suited to head back to Nepal since it's unlikely Chang is alive. As they are about to leave, they are gifted with another prophecy that states where exactly Chang can be found. Tintin sets off there alone and Haddock catches up with him later. So the timely interventions, the telepathic interventions that Tintin has when he is in France, and the telepathic interventions that the Blessed Lightning has. At first, seeing the three people under the avalanche, and also then seeing Chang in the Migos den. Migo is the Yeti. So these are the supernatural elements that you will see in the comic. Tintin is plagued by thoughts of Chang out of nowhere. Tintin has been struck by the deeply unsettling image of Chang lying in the snow begging for his help. When Tintin receives a letter from Chang the next day, we get another taste of something often lacking in the Tintin universe chronology. Tintin's past residence at Labrador Road is mentioned as the initial address the letter was sent to before it was redirected forward to Marlinspike and then their current location. So the Tintin gets a letter after it crosses the whole world. And in that letter, Chang tells Tintin that he is coming over to Tibet to see some of his relatives. That is why he is going to Tibet. And after that, he reads in a newspaper that the Patna Tibet airline has crashed in the Himalayas. The letter tells Tintin that Chang is coming to live in London with a family member and will be able to visit Tintin and hang out with him. And Tintin excitedly dances around the place and gushes to Haddock about what a brilliant person Chang is. Tintin puts two and two together to realize that Chang was on the plane that crashed and is momentarily overcome with grief before remembering his dream and deciding that Chang absolutely survived. He refuses to take no for an answer in his quest to go and find him, and Haddock repeatedly tries to go, not to go, but comes along in order to protect Tintin. Now, coming to a conclusion, comic books and popular culture. A comic book, a funny book, comic paper, or comic magazine is a magazine made up of narrative artwork, virtually always accompanied by dialogue. And this dialogue is put in word balloons. It is an American style and often including brief descriptive prose. The first comic book appeared in the United States of America in 1934, reprinting the earlier newspaper comic strips, which established many of the storytelling devices used in comics today. The term comic book arose because the first comic books reprinted humor comic strips, but despite their name, comic books do not necessarily operate in humorous mode. Most modern comic books tell stories in a variety of genres. In the United States, the superhero genre dominates the market, even though other genres also exist. So, the comic book in popular culture, and now we come to an end of the slide. This is how Yeti sees when he. This is the response of Yeti when he sees that Yang is being taken by the search party headed by Tintin. And thank you for listening to this video. God bless you all. Thank you.